The Risa and Alden J. McDonald and Sue Ellen and Joseph Canizero Diabetes Center at New Orleans East Hospital and the Goldring Family Foundation Center for Jewish Multicultural Affairs have joined forces to tackle diabetes in our communities. This new partnership, titled Get NOEH Fit, Healthy You, Healthy Me, aims to emphasize the prevention of diabetes by partnering with locally Black-owned restaurants in New Orleans East and surrounding communities to provide healthy meal demonstrations and incorporate healthy meal options on their menus. This is only a portion of the many initiatives that we will bring to you to help to prevent diabetes over the next 12 months. We are so grateful for the support and partnership of the Jewish Federation. And now I invite you to tune in with us to our inaugural cooking demonstration with Chef Edgar Dooky Chase IV of Dooky Chase Restaurant and Chef Alan Shaya of Saba as they show us how to prepare a diabetes-friendly, healthy meal just in time for the holidays. Introducing our partners who are collaborating on the Get NOEH Fit, Healthy You, Healthy Me Diabetes Prevention Initiative, partnering with our local Black-owned restaurants to teach healthy cooking demonstrations and incorporate healthy menu items for all of us to enjoy. To my right, I have Chef Edgar Dooky Chase IV of Dooky Chase Restaurant, and to my left, our partner, Chef Alan Shaya of Saba Restaurant. Also here with us are representatives from the Risa and Alden J. McDonald and Sue Ellen and Joseph Canizero Diabetes Center at New Orleans East Hospital, Drs. Corey Hebert and Dr. Candice Robinson. In addition, we have our partners from the Goldring Family Foundation Center for Jewish Multicultural Affairs, Mr. Bradley Bain and Ms. Ina Davis.
Welcome here to the Dooky Chase Restaurant Kitchen. A great friend of mine, Chef Alan Shaya, and Lauren, the dietitian over here at the New Orleans East Hospital. We're doing some great things here today, and we're cooking diabetes-friendly meals, which is great, and really getting into that fall season, that Thanksgiving season. It's a great holiday meal that we've put together. Right here, we're gonna start with the Cornish Hen, and then we'll go over to a sweet potato casserole, collard greens, pumpkin pie.
That sounds delicious.
So all this great stuff that really puts you in a season of Thanksgiving, happiness, friends, occasions.
All can be cooked healthy-wise, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
When you're dealing with great flavor and great herbs and all that, you don't need to add a bunch of sweetener and salt and all that other stuff. This is gonna be a pack full of flavor.
Right.
So let's get started. Right here, we're working with 2 Cornish hens. They're roughly about a pound and a half. What you want to do is we're going to pat it dry. Now the great thing about this recipe is it's really, really simple. You pat dry your Cornish hens, you get your mixing bowl, you get your whisk, and everything goes in this mixing bowl. What we're doing is we're going to create a marinade for these birds to go in the oven and sit right here on this rosemary. So start off with your garlic. Yes, sir.
And the garlic adds a lot of flavor.
Oh, it's full of flavor.
Helps you to kind of not have to add as many seasonings like salt in there. Rosemary.
We have a little bit of black pepper to bring some of that heat. We have some lemon juice and some lemon zest, olive oil.
The lemon zest is also another great way to add that extra flavor, right?
Yes,
and it all helps to really add lots of healthy flavor into the meal without having to add a lot of salt or a lot of fat.
You're looking for. And you know, a lot of chefs, especially great chefs like Alan here, what we realize and what we know is when you're cooking with great ingredients and a lot of herbs, you don't tend to need to have all that salt, all that sugar. It's the ingredients are gonna speak for themselves.
Mustard is another one of those magic ingredients
that we put in there.
You know, mustard is a great substitute for butter because, you know, it's actually very, very healthy, but it adds a creaminess to a dish. It kind of helps to like bring things together and add a little bit of an emulsion here. And then the zest of a lemon also too is just really, really great for bringing all that extra flavor there.
That's it. Now we do have a little salt here. It's optional. You don't have to use it because we have all these great flavors, but you can see it's just a pinch.
Just a pinch.
Flavor up some, enhance that herb and that garlic.
Really, it's about moderation, right? It's about not too much. And you don't have to season the birds themselves, but you can season the marinade, and that will help to add all that extra flavor there. So,
and that's it. You want to just slide it around, marinate those birds really great. And as it bakes in that oven, we're gonna lay them on a bed of rosemary and some lemon. And all that flavor, all that smokiness from the oven coming up is just gonna infuse that hen and that meat going through. And you're talking about something that's full of flavor, something that's easy, something that's quick. You're preheating your oven to 350. Right at 350, chef is gonna put a little water at that because that's also gonna help infuse and bubble up that steam coming up.
And that'll help to make the gravy later too.
That's exactly right.
If we have a little extra juice in there.
That's exactly right. All that rendering from that bird cooking out is gonna sit right in there, mix in with the lemon, mix in with the rosemary, and this is just gonna be a perfect dish that you can have at Thanksgiving, enjoy with others.
This looks delicious.
Thank you. Let's get it in the oven
Okay.
and we'll be good to go. Along with pairing Cornish hen, we definitely need a vegetable. And what better vegetable when you're thinking about the fall and Thanksgiving than collard greens, right?
I love collard greens.
Yeah, you can't
all kinds of greens.
You can't beat them. So what we have today is we have some fresh collard greens here. If you're at home and you happen to get some frozen collard greens chopped, that's okay too. You can follow the same recipe and get started. The first thing that you want to do, as chef is demonstrating here, is you want to start to take these stems off of that collard greens. This is part of cleaning and de-stemming those collard greens. He'll chop them up, we'll rinse them, and we'll get them going. Now, while he's doing that, what you can start is, what you see in this pot here, is we start with our smoked turkey necks. And that's really the basis, the stock of the flavor that we're gonna have. We have them in the water, we're gonna put them on the stove, and really what you're doing is you're creating that stock.
So the turkey necks add a lot of richness to the broth, right?
That's correct.
Because of all the natural gelatins that they have in, and it helps to richen that broth and give it a really buttery texture and flavor without having to put any fat in there at all.
That's exactly right. And a lot of this is just the methods and techniques that you can do to substitute adding butter and adding extra fat.
Yeah.
One reason why we're using those turkey necks is exactly what you said, Chef.
Yeah.
So as we chop these up and clean these greens here, those turkey necks, you're gonna let that go in your pot for about an hour just with water, and that's gonna reduce down and create that stock. Once you get to that hour, you're gonna go ahead on and start adding your greens in. Now, I know that greens have a lot of water in it, so you will add a lot and it's gonna reduce down in your pot, so don't think you're adding too much.
So I can just load it on up
Load
here.
it on up, that's right.
And you know the turkey necks are ready when they start to fall off the
Start
bone,
to fall
right?
off the bone, that's correct.
And that's when you start getting all that creaminess and richness in the broth.
That's right. And also to enhance that flavor, we're just gonna add some chopped onions. Again, garlic is great, and then some crushed red pepper just to bring that heat in and bring it a whole well-rounded dish. Once you add that in,
so chili flakes are a way to add flavor without having to add any salt. It gives it a nice kick, keeps that flavor really forward there, and then the garlic too gives it a lot of flavor. All very healthy for you as well. And we'll just let that cook, Chef?
you're just gonna let that cook and let that just slow cook for another hour. Now, since we have the Cornish hen, we have the great vegetable with the collard greens, now we gotta think about that starch. And what better starch or great starch can you have with a sweet potato?
Yeah,
So we're doing a sweet potato casserole here. That's fairly simple, but also really fall. And what you want to do is you want to start, we cut these sweet potatoes peeled and cut them into about 1 inch cube. And this is as simple as it gets. You put water in, you put the sweet potatoes in, and you bring it to the stove. And you let that go for about 15 to 20 minutes.
And sweet potatoes are a good source of carbohydrate, but also a really great source of fiber, right? So it really allows you to get that carb in, but also really give you a good fiber punch at the same time.
That's exactly right.
Beautiful.
Another thing we're gonna add to it, we cleaned and peeled some carrots here. So after your sweet potatoes have cooked for about 15 minutes and they become tender, you wanna add these carrots in. To that same amount of water.
And carrots are a great source of sweetness without having to add any sugar.
That's exactly right.
Because carrots have that natural sweetness going for them already.
That's
so
it.
I love, for a sweet snack, I'll just grab a carrot sometimes and start chewing on it, like Bugs Bunny.
That's it. So what you're gonna do after you go for about 30 minutes and let that ball and everything comes tender, as Chef shows, you're gonna drain it, but you're gonna reserve about 1/4 of that liquid that you cooked with the sweet potatoes and with the carrots. Not only does that have flavor, it's gonna help gel all these other flavors together. You get your trusty handy masher, mash some of that down. And then you're really starting to work in your flavors here. What we have is some sugar, brown sugar substitute, swerve, which is great. And that's really a 1-for-1. So you can follow any recipe that you see with brown sugar and add this and not have to add a little bit more. It's really a 1-for-1.
It looks just like brown sugar.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
We have some ground cinnamon. We have some nutmeg. And then we have a little bit of the melted butter. Now we're gonna save a little bit in here and then we'll save a little bit of top to crisp up some of these pecans that we're gonna add to the top.
And you can use like a margarine, right? Like something that has no saturated fat or low saturated fat as a substitute.
That's exactly right.
That looks delicious.
So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get your casserole at home. That
Just
goes
pour that
right,
in here.
right on in. Your oven is still preheated at 350. Now this is the beauty about all these recipes. You just have to set your oven to one temperature, 350. You'll be able to cook your Cornish hens. You'll be able to cook your sweet potato souffle. You'll be able to cook your pumpkin pielettes. All of it is gonna be at 350.
All at the same temperature.
Get that in, you'll just glaze around with the little pecans. You drizzle just a little more butter on top, and what's that gonna do is start to create that crispy little texture on top. So as you get a lot of cooking is not only flavor, it's not only color, but you wanna create that texture as well.
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna do. Once that's done, it looks beautiful, Chef. We're going right into that 350 oven and let it roll. So now it's time for one of my kids' favorite part of the meal, dessert, right? So we're still talking fall. We have beautiful pumpkins that's growing all over the place. And what better way can we do than a pumpkin pielette? We're gonna do it in these middle pielettes so you can snack on them. You know, if you eat 10 of them, you don't realize you ate the whole pie, right? You just keep going. So what Chef is stirring around right here is a little pumpkin puree. An easy way that you can do this, if you buy a small pumpkin at the store, you take those 2 halves of that pumpkin, put it on that sheet pan and let it go in the oven for about 25-30 minutes till it's nice, soft, tender. Come back out with a spoon and just scoop out those insides. And then it's just, you can mash it, put it in a food processor. If you have a blender, you name it, that's your puree that you have. Quick, simple, and easy.
And another vegetable or that people are typically intimidated by, right? Like you're like, how do I cook a pumpkin? Yeah. But all you really have to do is cut it in half, pull the seeds out, and roast it.
That's it.
And then you have a really beautiful, sweet, healthy snack right there.
That's it.
But we'll take it a step further here and make it a delicious dessert.
We definitely are. So what we have in front of us, we have a little sugar-free maple syrup. We have a little brown sugar substitute, the swerve that we'll add.
Again, all the great flavors of a pumpkin pie, but without any of the sugar.
That's exactly right. We have a little oat flour that we're gonna add in.
And oat flour is great because you don't get all that carb, right? All those carbohydrates that turn into sugar.
You have a little pinch of baking powder. And this is really just helping to gel that and really create that filling that we're gonna fill in these little pielettes here. What we have is a little nutmeg, coming back with a little cinnamon, and you're really just creating that pumpkin spice, that flavor, that fall flavor that we also use to. We'll top it off with a little vanilla abstract. And then to gel it all is gonna be egg whites. You're gonna use 2 egg whites. And that's just gonna really bring this thing together.
And this is a great source of protein. The egg whites really good for you, and also.
And you can probably, on this one out here, and you can hold right there, yeah. If you have, this is about one and a half sweet, 2 sweet potatoes. If you have 3 or 4, you can go up and add that. But you're looking at that mixture, how that's coming together.
So you're looking for that kind of light, fluffy texture there.
That's exactly right.
We'll mix it all in, make sure those egg whites are nicely stirred in. And then all we have to do is just spoon it into these little...
Make it easy.
Yeah, you know, this is like when I eat dessert, if I can grab something small like this and get a small sweet bite, and I'm satisfied, it's better than digging into a whole pie, right?
That's right.
Which, you know, I could do, I've done as well. But this gives you an option for a dessert. You take one small little bite, you feel good, you feel like you've had dessert, and you don't have to eat a huge slice.
As you started off, moderation is the key.
That's right.
You get to enjoy a little bit here, a little bit there, and before you know it, you got one great, fantastic, healthy meal. This is gonna go into that 350-degree oven for about 10 or 15 minutes. You can have a toothpick at home. If you poke the middle and it comes out and it's dry, you don't see any, you're ready to go enjoy. We top this with a little light whipped cream, and you can't beat it.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
A healthy Thanksgiving meal.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chef.
Oh, thanks for being here, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Lauren.
Well, we're gonna keep you around for a couple of weeks.
All right, give me a knife. I'll start prepping.
Thank you all. I hope you enjoy. Happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving, and always cook healthy, eat in moderation, enjoy good food, family and friends.
Well said.
Wow, this looks amazing. Thank you so much, Chef Dooky and Chef Shaya, for showing us that you really can eat healthy and it look good and taste good. Was this really difficult to make?
It wasn't, and you know when you're cooking with good ingredients and you're cooking with fresh herbs and spices, you really do have a chance to pull back the salt and the sugars because the ingredients will speak for themselves and you'll bring out that great flavor that everybody loves anyway.
Now, salt and sugar we typically have in our home cabinets, but do we have all the ingredients available to us to be able to make a great meal like this, Chef Shaya?
These are all ingredients that you can pick up at your local grocery store. A lot of people have rosemary plants in their backyard or down the street. I always go out and forage rosemary for my neighbors every once in a while. And so all these ingredients are very easy to get, add a lot of flavor, citrus, herbs. Those things are very simple, but also just pack a big punch of flavor and are very healthy.
And for the record, for those novice chefs like myself, the rosemary, that's the little sticks down here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
all right,
Yeah.
just checking to make sure. You know, Dr. Abear, it's important for us to actually know what we're eating and why we're eating it.
This is the rosemary. Right?
That's it.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
You'll see this growing all over town.
And if,
That is it.
That's the one.
they're fairly easy. You put it in a pot and let it roll, and they'll expand and they'll take over.
Yeah.
So that's one of the herbs that you really can put in a pot and just kind of walk away, water it every now and then, and let it go.
You know, a lot of times we think that not only is it difficult to cook healthy, but we don't always understand why it's so important to make those substitutions. Dr. Robinson, tell us a little bit about why it's important to do that.
It's definitely important because the type of sweeteners that you should stay away from with diabetes are the concentrated sweets. So we can always make various substitutions. I'm sure that you can substitute the maple syrup for a non-sweet or non-sugar type of maple flavor syrup that's actually not going to have the same type of sugar in it. You can also definitely do portion control as well to make sure that you can have at least a fair amount of some of these things that normally would be too high for diabetics.
You know, portion control is a challenge, especially, Dr. Abear, as we come upon one of my favorite holidays, Thanksgiving.
Yes, ma'am.
So how do we make sure that we can enjoy Thanksgiving even during these COVID times where we can't have all of our family there, but we sure are going to have a great meal?
Well, you know, one thing that I like to people really wrap their minds around here is that portion control is up to you. You know what you're supposed to do. You could have gone online and looked at all this stuff and done it all yourself. But the problem is that you're not really inspired to do that. You feel like you're weary, you're tired, you're sick of having to deal with all these issues with COVID-19, influenza. Now you have to deal with, I have diabetes and I want to eat what I want for my comfort food. But what I will tell you is that you have to find the inspiration to change. You know what you're supposed to do, which is the education. Now you have to find the inspiration. And use your family members that you will see, not all of them, but use the family members that you will see to come together and do this as a family. One thing I tell you to do is get some smaller plates. Get some smaller plates because you don't have to fill them up. And then remember that no portion larger than your fist for any reason at any time. These are some giant men standing next to me. Actually, I'm just extra little. That's not giant. But you know, they don't need giant portions of food. That makes us feel good because everything else is so tumultuous around us. So once we get the inspiration to move, that's why you go to church all the time. You get the inspiration. Find that inspiration to make these changes because you will be around a lot longer if you make those changes.
So as we look at Get NOEH Fit, Healthy You, Healthy Me, inspiring us and teaching us with world-renowned chefs how to be healthier and cook in a healthier way, but also have something tasty. Lauren, as a registered dietitian, should we just be doing this if we have diabetes? Or are these norms and changes that we all can make to be healthy?
Excellent point. These are things that everyone can do. This is a meal that could go on anyone's diet regardless of what their health goals are. You can help them with diabetes, to control their weight, with heart disease, or anyone who's looking to eat in a more nutritious way.
Absolutely. So I don't know about you, but COVID-19 has added 19 extra pounds to me. So Get NOEH Fit, Healthy You, Healthy Me, while we're focusing on diabetes prevention, really can help all of us to be healthier. So we welcome all of you to join us, not just today for our inaugural cooking demonstration, but for the next 12 months of healthy food demonstrations and more exciting activities to come.